Hi Gemini, welcome to your December 2019 tarot card reading. Thanks so much for being here. Let's dive right into these cards. So your energy, Gemini, coming out as the King of Swords. Super totally your whole vibe right here, right? King of Swords is super on point and very unbothered by a lot of things. He has this way about him that is etheric, airy, low density, no drama, no baggage, no nothing. Because, I think that if you were to really, really look back on 2019, you would see the substantial point A to point B. Like now really is a time when we're kind of walking into this significant astrological environment happening in January. And it's like kind of right before when stuff happens. So we have this opportunity to like really reflect for the sake of understanding how far we've come, for understanding context, for understanding how all the little pieces of the puzzle fit together, getting a better and better picture of the big picture. Okay, so the environment in which you're operating in right now is the Empress card, which is just simply wrought with creativity. Okay, she is fertile. She has this intrinsic desire to just push forward and to continue her path of evolution. You guys especially, and I know I've been saying it all year, like really, truly, especially Gemini, with all this 8th house stuff right now, I mean, you have been hit really, really hard with transformation. And so you're the leaders in that regard. So when things start becoming less heavy, when things become more light and less burdensome, you kind of have free reign. And whatever you really want, you can have, and whatever you work for, you can have. And what's interesting is I don't see a lot of work for Gemini. I don't see drudgery. It's interesting because it's in very stark contrast to the Taurus reading that I did yesterday, which is relevant because it's your 12th house. But I don't know that Gemini, you really are going to need to be doing all this hard work and pedal to the metal and boots on the ground and all that kind of nonsense. It's just, it's going to have a more fluid movement to it as you move forward. All right. Because the Empress, she doesn't like to sit there and work hard. That's not her vibe. Like she lets life do the work. She lets life bring things into a state of blossom. So I really, really see first card out. I'm sorry, but it's so chill. Okay. It's like, it's not that you're in the eye of the storm. Like we know that in a hurricane environment, the eye of the storm is usually very still, right? Like nothing is happening in the very center of the storm. But it's not like you are in the eye of the storm, but you are the eye of the storm. Meaning no matter what is going on around you, you have this very Buddha, guru, super spiritual kind of thing going on where you are untouchable. And that has been the theme for 2019. And I think that the untouchableness now, and as we've kind of conquered that internally, is going to propel us into like, okay, now I really don't care what other people think. I'm totally ready to stand up for my standards. I'm not going to put up with BS. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I am going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's just like all becomes so clear. And you're like, oh my God, like I can't believe I put up with all that nonsense for so long. But the Temperance is no judgment. There's no judgment. There's no ill will, there's no harsh feelings. It's just like move along, just move along together, move along alone, whatever it is. Now the card that comes out, which has been especially irritating to me, I mean really truly has just completely rubbed me the wrong way, is this Page of Coins. And I don't even know why. It's like when he comes out, I just kind of like my gears kind of jam a little bit. Like there are people still trying to get on the backs of people that have something going for them. And the desperation like out there, it's like the kind of the worst desperation that we've seen in a very long time. And the separation, which really started in 2018. And I remember talking about this in 2018. The separation between the high vibe and the lower vibe, not that one is better than the other, but it's becoming extremely distinct. And it's undeniable when the vibes are not going to work together, when it's disharmonious. And this Page of Coins simply like when someone comes with a page of coins offer to a Gemini right now, it's like Gemini kind of has this whole, like, you don't even need to do that, dude. Like, page of coins, don't even worry about it. Like, you go get something going on with your life so that I want to be a part of what you've got going on, and then we'll talk, right? Because Gemini is so empowered. Gemini is so, you know, on their course, that they're not going to veer off course for something so simple. They're not going to let just anyone crawl on their bandwagon. You know, it's really like the standard now is you show me that you have something that I want to be a part of. Don't try to be a part of what I've got going on. Because when Gemini has so much going on and so much promise, of course, everyone wants to like crawl on. Everyone wants to be a part of it. And they don't like that you're evolving without them. They don't like that you're changing without them. They don't like that you're succeeding without them. And, you know, like I said, Eye of the Storm, like, can we just put these two cards side by side and just say, like, how calm and how relaxed and how just very much, like, in your space and in your center that these cards truly are. Because you know that you're being transported. You know that we're entering, like, I don't know, like time warping into this whole new timeline for ourselves as individuals. And it's just so much more relevant for you than it is for any other of the zodiac because of the 8th house placement of these planets. Okay, so, you know, the world card is a Saturnian ruled energy. So it's slow, and it has been slow. And I'm sure if you like look back at the past couple of years, you're like, yeah, wow, it has been a really slow evolution, but it's been an evolution nonetheless. So you know that you're at this point of really closing something else out and opening up something new, which is really, really exciting for Gemini. But there's no pushing. The thing that I like about the King of Swords is he's not aggressive with stuff the way like a King of Cups would be, or like a Knight of Swords. You know, he's just very like, it's going to happen when it's going to happen, and that's it, and I don't need to worry about it because I know it's going to happen. Empress energy. I know that life is taking me there. So it's all very like guru. That's all I can say. It's all very guru-esque. You are the eye of the storm. You're not in it, you know, and that's how you know when your spirituality is hitting a certain point. And when your spirituality hits that point, your emotional state begins to evolve, your mental state evolves, and then your world evolves. You know, your money, your friends, your lovers, all that. So right underneath the Temperance card is a very well-grounded energy, 4 of Wands. I mean, you're so good. And for those Geminis who are like listening to my reading and they're, you know, no, not really. I still have this problem with my ex, or I still have this child custody thing, or I still have X, Y, or Z. Like, okay. But it's going to be a time now as we move into 2020 where all of that starts to get resolved. So it's almost like you can just chill out now because you know that it's going to be closing out. You know that conflicts and problems and drama are not really a part of your story anymore. And those people that are dealing with really immature Gemini, of course this reading won't apply to them because they're going to be caught up in like people trying to come on board, and then they're going to try to evolve, and they've got too much baggage going on. So the Geminis that are separating, maybe they're doing a hermit mode thing, maybe they're just working really hard in the office all the time, where they seem to be extraordinarily dedicated to one area of their life. Those are the people that are going to really see the changes, if I could talk. I was hoping that when Mercury got out of Scorpio, I'd be able to speak a little bit more clearly, but that is just simply not the case. Okay, 4 of Wands. And I know that you guys have like your groups, you have your networks, you have your friends, you have the people in your life that are reliable and trustworthy and that really love you and care about you, and they don't want a piece of what you have. You know, like they know that your success will ripple down because we know how generous Gemini can be, and we know how willing to share Gemini can be. So if a Gemini succeeds, everyone succeeds in the group. Everyone succeeds in the family. So there really, really are people cheering you on, and there is this pride of what you're doing, the pride of what you're building, the pride of your path, the pride of what you've built. And, I think that maybe for the first time in a long time, you are feeling that sense of, I'm really leaving a legacy in my life. I'm really leaving something behind. Some of you, maybe you've had children the past few years. You may be feeling especially sentimental about your children. Those of you who are growing businesses, you're feeling like, wow, this could be what I leave on earth when I'm gone, or whatever it is, So the Six of Wands is a card of victory and success, which means that this cool demeanor, this eye of the storm kind of vibe, is serving you very well and will continue to do so as long as you are still the eye of the storm. The minute you kind of veer off center, you can get whipped around into something else. So it's the consciousness and the awareness of where you are now that is going to really, really help in 2020. I like Gemini kind of taking risks. Right after this Six of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands. And Queen of Wands, for me, she's like my entrepreneur. I don't know why. I see her as being like really, she's not like, she can get dirty, unlike the Empress. The Empress is, a little bit more white glove, behind the scenes, kind of delegating, telling other people what to do, which is an environment which is great, which kind of allows for a lot of work to be very productive and to get a lot of results from the things that you do. But the Queen of Wands has that passion and that drive. I have a feeling that there are some Geminis out there who are starting new businesses and they feel this Queen of Wands energy. It's like a very cardinal, directed, super on point. I know where I'm going in this direction and you cannot stop me kind of thing. This is a very Aries energy, a very Leo energy. She has this a bigness of personality, which is so magnetic and so attractive. And that's probably why, of course, the Page of Coins kind of people trying to come off and mooch, or to be some kind of leeches, who are just like making little kind of offers that can't even begin to match what your value is for them. Like they're not even coming to the table with an offer that's even worth your consideration. Queen of Wands is the tornado-esque kind of vibe, but in a non-destructive way. Get out of her way, or, it's on you. Queen of Wands, though, does assemble groups. She does bring people on board who share her passion, or who at least have passions that are parallel with hers. She brings people on who are independent and don't get their feelings hurt very easily. Like she doesn't have time to worry about everybody's feelings. She's just like, if she hurts your feelings, makes you cry, okay, fine, I'm just going to keep moving on. It's not really my problem. It's not my job to make sure you feel good about you, So she can be a real trailblazer. She can also be a real bulldog too at the same time. So maybe you are kind of finding this Queen of Wands energy within yourself. Again, for some of you, maybe for the first time ever in your whole life, maybe it is a little bit uncomfortable for you. Maybe the stillness is uncomfortable. Maybe the knowing is uncomfortable. And that's perfectly okay. Like what I see is you actually treating this like you would anything else, like an adventure of a new side of your personality that you've never seen before, a new whatever. It's an adventure. It's something to be curious about. It's something to go and learn and try and fail and pick yourself up again. Like it's the journey. And this is such like I love this card for Gemini because it's the playful part of you. It's the malleable, mutable air that can be wispy and whimsical and magical. I often sort of equate Gemini energy. Like I'm someone who really loves clouds. Like I have a Libra ascendant. I don't know, air sign, Jupiter, whatever, Aquarius, Jupiter. So for me, like more so than the ocean, more so than the mountains, more so than the desert, like whatever kind of environment you like, for me, I like to be in a place that has a really beautiful sky, that has a really beautiful big clouds, really beautiful light that comes in through the clouds. So when I look at the clouds, I always see a Gemini kind of vibe, like when they're kind of moving and changing and shifting and changing form and coming up and going away. And it's so beautiful. And that's often because of the big puffy clouds here. That's why I'm saying all of that. And that's kind of like what you have over everybody else, is your ability to form a cloud out of nothing and to take a cloud and make it into nothing as well, right? So you're mutable, you're flexible, you can create rain or you can create blue skies, whatever you want. Because you're leaving this behind. This is the no baggage part of it, death reverse. This is Saturn Pluto transit in your 8th house is over in January. So you know you're coming to a close. You know that this sort of free path is directly in front of you. You know that the heaviness is coming to an end. And the King of Swords, like in his all-knowingness, his all-claircognizance vibe here, he just kind of, you know, is sitting there waiting, you know, waiting for the doors to open, because he knows that they will. The Death card reversed. If you are dealing with, okay, so just to kind of put this out there, I'm getting Sagittarius with the Temperance card, I'm getting Taurus, Libra with the Empress card, and we're getting Scorpio, okay? But specifically for those of you who are dealing with scorpionic kinds of people, they don't have to be a Scorpio, but they probably have some kind of intensity about them, or they have some kind of ambition about them. Usually Scorpios are very like jerky people, like they move really fast. They're always trying to like go after stuff. So if you have someone like that in your wake, it's probably, I don't know, I don't see them as being a bad influence, but I actually see you absorbing some of their kind of stuff in a positive way to apply to your King of Wands, excuse me, your Queen of Wands, so that you can then build what it is you're hoping to build. I don't know why I see that. I just do. Probably won't apply to everybody, but there's something rubbing off with the Death reversed, right? It's like rubbing off on you. And you're stepping into, like I said, it's like a new version of yourself, a new version that maybe you've never really seen in you before. Now, we get an Empress card again. So we had the Environment card, which was here, and then she comes out again in the 9-card block as the very last one. Like, don't forget that the world around you is truly abundant, and that anyone else's success does not mean scarcity for you. I don't see Gemini indulging in any kind of fits of jealousy or envy or anything like that, right? If you are dealing with a Gemini, or if maybe you are a Gemini who's feeling those kinds of feelings, it's important for you to really flip the script, right? The way a Page of Swords can do, to flip the script and say, okay, maybe instead of being jealous, maybe I think of it as being inspired to make the changes that I want to make. Okay, so it just depends on how you're talking to yourself. See, the King of Swords talks to himself only really when necessary. He's more goal-oriented than any of the kings. He doesn't sit there and fester. He doesn't wallow. He doesn't dwell on anything. I mean, air signs are like the lowest density, and it's like next to ether, right? We have earth, which is the heaviest, water, which is a little less, fire a little less, and then air is the lightest. So that's why, you know, he's not dwelling. So unless you have a earth or a water, moon, or ascendant, or a lot of planets in those elements, this should feel right at home for you and be completely like it's your local vibe, you know? It's your local bar, like you belong here. All right, so the Empress, like, don't forget the abundance that's all around you. Let's go ahead and put this camera down and pull out the cards that we'll go over in the comprehensive reading, all right? See you in just a sec. Okay, Gemini, so I'm going to start off pulling a Psychic Tarot card and a Wisdom of the Oracle card for the King of Swords here to clarify your energy a little bit and what you need to know just kind of about you. Let's see here. Balance. Oh my gosh, I can't even. It's just so relaxed, this whole thing. You know, karma, really, you know, we always kind of say it's like what goes around comes around, but it's really more whatever you are, that's what's going to come back to you kind of deal. You know, whatever emotions you're hanging on to, whatever feelings, whatever regrets, even whatever joys, you know, then that's going to be kind of the way your life is, the way your life goes. That's why we always talk about, you know, stepping into gratitude on a consistent basis, because you want things that you're going to be grateful for, you know? But the universe is always, always, always in a state of counterbalancing. And to me, for some reason, you guys seem to have reached a pretty stable state, no matter what anyone else is doing. And maybe you've come in to realize that maybe it's not happening to you, and maybe it's not even happening for you. Maybe it's just simply happening, and therefore it's not worth having a lot of feelings about. You know, it's not worth giving a lot of thought to. You seem to be very in control about what is worth your thought energy, you know, and if you're not, Gemini, it's okay. I think that's where you're headed. You know, I do. I genuinely believe that's where you're headed. Okay. Come to the edge. Interesting to have balance and then come to the edge. And I see that as very much a Page of Swords energy, being, you know, completely willing to explore this sort of new horizon, and in a way, like, even to come to the edge and look off and like see what's down there, see what's over there, see, you know, get that perspective really, because sometimes when we're like so stuck in like our little safe zone, you know, we don't have that context. And I, for some reason, there is a lot in here talking about context. Everything is coming into context. So that's good. Let's go ahead and pull a couple more tarot cards for the King of Swords. For those of you who want to know, this is the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And these are cards that we'll talk about in the comprehensive reading. That link will be down below in the description box. We'll talk for about another 20 to 25 minutes down there. Okay. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. You guys are like real good. Queen of Swords is just that little bout of doubt. Just a little bit. Not worth giving credence to. What else for this Temperance card? See, I think your Tower's already happened. You're already past it. What is it, the worst? I don't know. Maybe some of you had a really bad year. I don't know. The worst is over, if that's the case. What was this card again? I don't remember. Yeah. Figures. Man, that Page of Coins, he is creeping. There is a scorpionic energy, interesting. Although I think that is your emotional maturity about the whole deal and the person. I don't see you guys popping off on anybody. I don't see you going off. I don't see you feeling like it's worth the time. I just don't know that you can spare that energy. Oh, look at these cups. Look at these coins. I've been having good feelings about Gemini for a really long time now. In the beginning of the year, I remember having such a hard time with your readings. And not to say everyone was going through like really terrible stuff, but it was just a lot. And you had a lot thrown at you, and you had to deal with a lot, and you had to change a lot. And it really, really is kind of lightening up now. One more for that, just because of the Death card. Okay. Those of you who are here for romantic interests, I have a suspicion that there is someone that you know, you either are already talking to, or they're around, they're watching, they are probably a really good match for you. Ooh, another page. I don't know why I'm liking the cups for you. I think by, whoops, hold on. Five of Swords reversed, excellent. Okay, let's pull for one more for the Death reverse. For some reason, I'm feeling like that's important. Okay. A lot of repeated cards here. Yeah, love. You guys are really, really opening up yourself to like real love, like the real deal. Enduring high quality with someone that you actually respect, you know, and that you could actually talk to, who like gets you. And then bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune. So this is where we're going to pick up for the comprehensive if you want to join. Link down below. All right. If not, have an excellent holiday season, and I will see you guys very soon for the January readings. Thanks so much. Take care.